Welcome to the Moshe Torah podcast for Parshas Shemini. Join us as we explore the weekly Parsha, uncovering valuable insights and striving to become the best versions of ourselves through Musar teachings. In this week's Parsha, we encounter one of the most devastating moments in Jewish history. Aharon the Kohen had just lost two of his sons, Nadav and Avihu, who had died while performing the service in the Mishkan. Aharon was now an onain, someone who had just lost a close relative and, according to halacha, was forbidden from eating the karbanos. Here's where the story becomes more complex. Hashem had told Moshe that Aharon was permitted to eat specifically from the sacrifices offered for the Mishkan's consecration. These were unique, one-time offerings. Moshe made a mistake. He extended this permission beyond its actual scope, thinking it applied to all sacrifices, and he instructed Aharon accordingly. When Moshe later discovered that Aharon hadn't eaten from the regular karbanos, he chastised him for not following his instructions. Aharon, despite his overwhelming grief, summoned the strength to correct even Moshe Rabbeinu. He replied, "If you heard from Hashem about one-time sacrifices, that doesn't mean you heard about all the sacrifices." The Torah records Moshe's reaction in Vayikra Perek Yud Pasuk Chaf, Vayishma Moshe v'yitav be'einav, and when Moshe heard this, he approved. Understanding Moshe's reaction, Rashi provides crucial insight into what happened here. He explains that Moshe wasn't just quietly accepting that he was wrong. Rather, Moshe admitted his error publicly and wasn't embarrassed to concede that he hadn't heard from Hashem that the permission extended to regular sacrifices. Think about the magnitude of this moment. Moshe Rabbeinu, the greatest prophet who ever lived, the leader of the entire Jewish people, the man who brought down the Torah from Har Sinai, is publicly acknowledging a mistake in front of the nation. The Sefer HaZikaron, a commentary on Rashi, reveals something even more profound. Moshe wasn't just accepting his error with dignity, he was elated. He experienced genuine joy at being corrected. This brings us to the penetrating question posed by Rav Henoch Leibowitz. How is it possible for Moshe to be happy about Aharon proving him wrong? Wouldn't Moshe have been happier to learn this halacha through study without suffering the embarrassment of public defeat? After all, we're talking about human nature here. Even the most humble person would prefer to be right. Learning a new piece of information is valuable, but having someone point out your mistake, that stings. How could Moshe not just accept this gracefully, but actually feel joy? To answer this question, Rav Henoch offers a brilliant parable. Imagine somebody walking down the street who suddenly trips and falls, badly hurting their leg. As they are getting up, they notice a $50 bill on the ground, apparently what they had tripped over. Would this person be happy? Of course, they found money. Would they have forgotten about the pain in their leg? Absolutely not. They're pleased about the money, but they're still nursing a throbbing injury. Now imagine the same scenario, but instead of a $50 bill, the person discovers what they tripped over was a winning lottery ticket worth millions of dollars. Suddenly, they're jumping up and down with excitement. What happened to the leg pain? It's completely forgotten. In fact, they're grateful they fell because that fall brought them incredible wealth. The difference here lies in the magnitude of the gain. When the gain far outweighs the loss, even the loss becomes something to celebrate because it led to greater good. This is the key to understanding Moshe's reaction. Moshe Rabbeinu loved the truth and Torah more than other people love money, even more than someone loves winning the lottery. Yes, Moshe already knew so much Torah. He was the greatest scholar who ever lived. That didn't diminish his excitement about learning one more halacha. That additional piece of Torah knowledge was so precious to him, so valuable, that the joy of gaining it completely overwhelmed any embarrassment about being wrong. When the gain is infinite, when you are receiving a gem of divine wisdom, the ego's discomfort becomes irrelevant. Moshe wasn't just tolerating his mistake, he was genuinely grateful for the opportunity to learn something new, regardless of how that opportunity came about. Now we need to ask ourselves, how do we react when someone corrects us? Let's be honest. Most of us don't react like Moshe. When someone points out we are wrong, our first instinct is usually defensive. We might argue back, trying to prove we're actually right. We might make excuses for why we made the mistake. We might feel embarrassed or hurt. We might become irritated with the person correcting us. We might reluctantly accept we are wrong while secretly feeling resentful. These reactions are natural, but they reveal something about our values. They show us that protecting our ego is more important to us than discovering the truth. If we truly loved truth the way Moshe did, our reaction would be completely different. We would greet correction with genuine enthusiasm. Thank you! I didn't know that! What a valuable piece of information you have just given me. Think about what happens in our learning partnerships, our marriages, our workplaces. How much growth are we blocking simply because we can't handle being wrong? How many opportunities to learn are we missing because we are too busy defending ourselves? The Torah isn't asking us to enjoy being humiliated. Rather, it's inviting us to shift our values when acquiring truth becomes more important than protecting our self-image. Correction transforms from threat to gift. This week, we can take a small step in this direction. When someone corrects us, whether it is about a fact, a halacha, or even a personal behavior, let's pause before reacting defensively. Let's ask ourselves, what if this correction is a gift? What if I just received a piece of truth I didn't have before? We might not reach Moshe's level of joy immediately, but we can begin to see a correction that as an opportunity rather than an attack. We can thank the person who corrected us. We can acknowledge openly that we didn't know something. We can allow ourselves to feel excited about learning, even if it comes through the uncomfortable channel of being wrong. This week, let's all practice responding positively to correction. The next time someone points out a mistake, whether in learning, at work, or at home, try saying, "Thank you for telling me that. I'm glad to know the truth." Notice your internal resistance. Don't let it control your response. Start with small corrections about minor things. Build the muscle of valuing truth over ego. As you practice, you may find that what once felt threatened begins to feel like opportunity. If we can deliver even a fraction of Moshe's love for truth, we will discover that being wrong isn't defeat, it's a chance to become more right. And that is something genuinely worth celebrating. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Moshe Torah podcast. Until next week, may we all merit to love truth with such intensity that discovering we are wrong becomes a cause for joy, not for distress. Have a good Shabbos.